Mr. Sanjeev Sharma. He's from IFFCO Kisan, which is actually working for farmers, giving value-added services to them and making something which is very critical for them, that is using ICT for sustainable agriculture value chain. So the floor is all yours, Mr. Sharma. I would like you to take it forward.
Thank you, Mr. Deepak. First of all, very good evening to all of you. It's a wonderful session going on. Startling questions, good representations, and good answers. So I would be having a small presentation. So I am presently looking agribusiness for IFFCO Kisan Sanchar Limited. It's a company, it's a subsidiary of IFFCO, Indian Farmer Fertilizer Corporation. Bear me with a while, I'm just working. First of all, the camera is not very clear, but that hardly matters. So my subject basically is about role of ICT in sustainable agri value chain. So I think a lot of things has already been discussed about the traceability, about the data, about the data-led agriculture in that direction. So I'll be taking some of the first couple of slides about us, what we do, probably why we do. That's also very important, why we are there. So we are, as I told you, IFFCO is a key stakeholder in Indian agriculture. About 35,000 plus primary cooperative societies are the member of IFFCO. So in a way, indirectly, we are serving, IFFCO is serving about 40 million farmers for the last 50 years. Only Federation is a pro-farmer organization giving for the last 53rd year, 20% dividend to all the cooperative member partners, 35,000 member partners. So we are known for the fertilizer manufacture distribution, but very few people know about it. IFFCO since 2003 is working. It's a wholly owned by these primary agriculture societies. So there a lot of diversification has been happened. So the IFFCO Kisan Sanchar Limited, the company I am representing here, is been created only for utilizing mobile and ICT technology towards e-extension, towards bringing in change into the farmers. And the focus is marginalized farming segment. So we are a 13-year-old younger company. So about cumulatively having a 4 million farmers base to whom we are serving for the last 12 years. We are running in 13th year. So there are a couple of things which we are working with the farmer. Ideally, basically, the need was felt. Whatever technological advancement, be it the agrochemical, be it the other biotechnology and seed technology, or the other adjoining areas of the agriculture and allied sector, how the farmer need to be informed about it. So farmer need to be informed. Ideally, it need to be a knowledgeable farmer. At least it need to be informed about the benefits, what other stakeholders are offering, the environment is offering to them. So he can take some informed decisions about his action. So I would be just talking about, because a lot of data-driven startups and the discussion so far is basically capturing the data from the farms and the across complete agri value chain. But nobody is talking about from where to capture and where to generate this data. So we are talking about post-factly, whatever farmer has done, based on that, we'll be capturing the data and trying to make a sense, value proposition to the other stakeholders, maybe the downstreaming side of the agriculture. So here I would having some perspective to you guys in itself, it's a big area where farmer need to be, how you can influence a farmer in decision making. So you can the ICT can be an influential maker in his actionability around the farms, and something you call about the change behavior, which a farmer or any community guy, including us, we all have a change behavior towards some inertia towards change behavior, whatever is being offered to us, newer technologies. Maybe COVID is the latest example. So how to mitigate that, how to support that, we have certain approach in that. So we are developing technology all throughout this. And then ultimately, no single technology, we are not waiting for anybody, for the stakeholder. Obviously, once the ecosystem matures up, everybody will come, things will fall in place. Probably what we anticipate, a lot of support from the government in terms of data transparency, hosting, and authenticity around it. So probably government has its own ways, its own learning curve, its own approach to do things. So nobody can sit. So we are trying our own level best within our own capacity. So we are trying to develop everything from inner side to the outer side towards the forward linking side also. I'm talking about IFFCO Kisan and other IFFCO group companies. So this is a journey. Basically, we are into agro-waste services, technology, field aggregation, old field service, and market linkages, which talks about the downstreaming also in the processing. So just a loop in how we are working in that. So as I told you, knowledge, first of all, a person and farming society, because our focus is a farmer. We are a farmer first organization, not the industry first organization. Of course, both are complementing, both are two poles of the ecosystem and need to be connected well. So we started with VAS agro advisories. These are basically not just advisories, these are actionable advisories which farmer need to be given in their local language. So we are the company who started Voice. Traveling Voice 13 years back was a very costly proposition, but we devised a model where a farmer no need to pay anything. The first thumb rule is we would be avoiding as far as possible the replication. We all would be working in a convergence. That's the principle. Second, it's always a marginal farmer we need to keep in mind. We need to keep in mind the ecosystem around that farmer. Whatever we develop, it has to be at least that friendly that farmer can relate to it. And if he cannot, at least we should have a mechanism and approach where this farmer can also be taken through that journey of what we call about digitization or precision agriculture, where we are moving towards. And then we started much more community focused agro advisory. So this is the knowledge part. Second comes the adoption. When the farmers started adopting your things, then you have to come on the digital profiling, digitizing the whole ecosystem, then bringing in traceability right from their land preparation up to the harvest and maybe post harvest. And as my earlier speaker has already given, there are plug and play supply chain. Still, industry size is much more mature in terms of digitized application. But where is the gap basically? It's basically the gap where the farm level digitization, farmer is also a stakeholder. How we can address that? That's something, some of the area where we are putting in our efforts. And we can't say we are very successful, but yes, we are seeing some roots of success. So some green shoots of success. So probably we are pretty optimistic on that side. Then from there you go for agro expert consultancy. When this farmer, aggregated farmer or FPOs are in a way that they can move towards something sustainable, they can afford the value generation, which when they see the value in that, you come as a company who works in that direction. And apart from that, the major aspect on the change behavior, bringing in technology transfer to the farm, is that one side is this, you are advising them, the other side is they are asking you their issues. And in a real way, how you can change that. So we are handling Government of India Kisan Call Center. It is, I think, Asia's largest ICT intervention in terms of the scale, which is it has acquired in the last 9 years. So we are presently handling about 1 crore calls, 10 million calls in 28 scheduled languages from all nook and corner of the company. Entire company has been served here. About 700 agriculture grads are sitting on it and giving answers 16 hours a day for 365 days a year. So this is, I'm talking, see, this is the premise where we are operating, and how we can convert this into more challenging side of the agriculture related to the farmer. So I think couple of words have come in, a lot of speakers mentioned about the climate change. So that's an area IFFCO as a group and we as a company, we are very concerned about. I think we think that's an area where a concerted effort need to be done. So we have started our journey in that direction, at least, making farmer and other stakeholders sensitizing towards the issue, and whatever possible mitigation technologies are possible, informing them around that and trying to that farmers should adopt these kind of technology. From these, we move to the empowerment. This is about farmer is empowered when he has the information, timely actionable information, and a set of knowledge around that. Then he has adopted it. Their digital ecosystem is with him, and with a complete expert hand-holding from the company and group of companies, or maybe government agencies, maybe developmental agencies. Then you work on the smart farm enterprise, basically, more on the IoT sensors, satellites, and practically we are doing all this. Maybe in a pilot phase in certain areas, but we are doing it in that sense. So we are trying all those fancy words, whatever, technologically faddish kind of, whether, Mr. Deepak may ask it whether it's relevant or no. At times it doesn't look relevant at the moment, but for future it looks like relevant. So we are experimenting in all that drone and other areas also, remote sensing area also. And we are, most of the game changer is the market linkages. Unless you don't have the market linkages, all your efforts, whatever on the qualitative, quantitative side, are going into the vain. That's our 13-year experience talks about. So we are giving a lot of focus on the market linkages. To that effect, we have started some of our retail branding also on the identified crops to give farmer the benefit. Because the last question from Deepak was very relevant. It's about whether who is going to pay, who is going to seeing the value in the traceability, whether is there any value generation or farmer would be there. There's a question from one of the attendee also about whether is there any shared profit making mechanisms there. Yes, these all are possible, and we are trying in various kind of pilots in these all things. So we are making kind of readiness towards a robust, tech driven, actionable and adaptable climate smart agri ecosystem. So I would be touching base on the information dissemination side, how the technology ICT ecosystem towards keeping the marginal farmer, which is about 70% of the farming population which we talk about, and how the climate smart agri ecosystem, climate smart or climate change adaptation is affecting all this. So just I'll be putting one study which we did with Borlong Institute of South Asia. So it's done in 2017. So it talks about ICT penetration, shift, and climate change vulnerability. If you see on the right side of it, so there are about 30% of the districts which we talked about, mostly the medieval central India districts. You talked about they are on a very high vulnerable as far as climate risk is there. And if you see on the right side, there are high vulnerable. On the left corner, you see about 180 million farmer Indian rural households if you talk about. So mobile penetration, active mobile penetration is about 50%, whereas the television, which we call it, about 36%, and about 20% you have radio penetration. Only the computer and other things about hardly 1% you can see is out there. So this is a survey done on about 1,600 farms from 3 states, farming families. Out of six, and this has been interpolated with the COI and dry data also in that. So you can see more alarming is this: out of 622 districts, about 124 fall into very highly vulnerable, 15 states. So you can say about 45% of our districts are in a very highly vulnerable zone, and in total about 55% of districts are in a high vulnerable and very high vulnerable zone. So you can say mostly about 30% of our rural farmers are seeing a very dangerous. Jitan has just around about that we see the studies around 2033 will be having a dry India. About 30% of India would not be having enough water to maintain the agriculture in that direction. And that's why the topics like climate smart, food securities, they are not just the buzzword, rather they are the real worry, and they are the real action area where I request all the young entrepreneurs, young minds should also think in that direction, since a lot of young people are on this platform as of now, which we are interacting. No, going further by this, so we did some comparatives in this. What is the role of vulnerability and how the accessibility to ICT services? So this survey talks about, if you see the left quadrant on the top is the most low access to ICT services and the most highly vulnerable in that side. So about 104 districts fall in that, majority of the central India districts, if you see in that area, that's the rural area. On the left-hand side, when you see on the downside is there is a district where ICT penetration is there. That's the basically the eastern side of the country, where vulnerability is high and the accessibility, little bit accessibility is there. On the right-hand side top, you see mostly the peninsular middle area, not the coastal area. They are very well connected. They are also on the high William John about 132. So that is an area where you need to educate a lot of farmers, where the ICT channels are there. On the left and top side, we need to build the ICT penetration channels out there. And this will give an idea to all the stakeholders here who are putting in a lot of words on the digitization. The basic connectivity, basic tool to get the data capturing is the smartphone. It's hardly 10% is there in the in the hands of the farmer, against 45% penetration. If you see by the TRI record, they'll say about 29% of the smartphone penetration in rural India. But when we talk about the farmer who is actually doing the farming, who is making the decision, who is taking the action on the farm, it is around single percent. So that's a big challenge out there. So we need to devise kind of, I think somebody has talked about Phygital. That's the area we call it as an assisted model. You need to prepare some youngsters, So we take along all these youngsters from that vicinity where the project is there, bringing them the farmer sons and the ecosystem into digitization. They should also learn that tomorrow we should not be building some kind of a advanced technology which would be kind of foreign to them, and they will be left over from the digitization wave. And one more experiment which we think the ICT and the mobile application are bringing youth also towards agriculture. That's the simpler tools which we are creating, the maximum, the better is the penetration, and the youth is also being drawn towards agriculture in that area. Now, how we are doing it? Now, I'll be covering some part how we all are doing it. So we created a platform called Krishi Devgyan. It's an end-to-end farm traceability platform. When we talk about traceability, it's not about the entire agri-value chain. Of course, it can be plug and play. A lot of people are there. It's a huge, long agri-value chain. So it can be done, but our focus is primarily on the field chemical traceability, actionability. So you could have a control on the actionability part on the farm, and primarily to have a safer food in the manner that there should be an optimal MRL levels. That's also a very concernful area where the company and we as a group professional, we are concerned about it. At least share by giving a proper information to these farmers on the actionability, on the usability of the certain agrochemicals. I think we can avoid, we can change 50% of kind of a residue level which comes into our food system. So that's the why we are doing it. It's not we want to capture the data, we want to create a data, and we don't want that's something like a byproduct, that monetizing of this data. So that's not the moving point. I'm just clearing it because what it moves at. So the audience could also have a focus in their question and our approach also. It's about farming system, taking farmers along with the digitization route and aiming to give them some value addition. At least there is an optimal level of MRL level on that. If 5 to 10% premium you try to build in the market, that is the cost, that can offset the cost whatever been put into the terms of digitization, and all these efforts are going on. So we are having some successful pilots in these areas. So it's giving the geofencing, it's letting the e-signature of the land parcel. From there we can have the satellite-based data. You can have your sensor and local data capturing. It's an assisted model where the farmer executive under an agriculture expert or an agriculture young graduate is taking the vision technology. Also, he's keeping the all the pictorial images of the complete life cycle of the crop is being captured, and they're put into the machine and deep learning, and then all the automated advisories are coming instantaneously. The moment a farmer picks a photograph from his mobile phone, within a minute he'll be getting automated advisory, very granularized advisories to his crop. If not just the crop, it is about the variety, which variety, because package of practices get changed with the variety. It's not just rice is just a rice. Rice will be having 7 varieties, long, short, and other. And within long, you have certain seeds, about 20% of POPs and their timelines get changed in that. So what matters is the granularity. It's a big, deep, what do you call it? We call it normally in our parlance, a big black hole where you have to go deep into that. And that granularization journey is also going on, and we are utilizing ICT in that direction in getting it out. So how this looks like? So once you have this executive along with farmer having a weekly pictorial base of the crop situation, and from satellite you are getting NDVI or stress level index, and from the satellite and local weather station and IMD, and lot of APIs are available from like Jatin's SkyMet is there, Dark Sky is there, IBM Flux there, IMD is also there. So we take all those kind of inputs, have a modeling on that. And based on the ground data, based on the satellite data, and the other model predictions from the SkyMet of the world and the dark skies of the world, we convert these empirical data into an actionable advisory in a local language. Rather, our efforts is on the local lingo, because whatever you are communicating them, what has been absorbed, there's a lot of jack and a lot of big data analytics goes into that. What farmer is really absorbing what we are saying that. So R is an area which comes in a one word called agro advisory, which is something like very simple thing, but for us it's a complete universe, and we are putting in a lot of words in that direction, how to say, how a thing to be communicated, so that will bring in the actionability around it to offset the to offset the inertia against newer technology, newer change. So we are trying to build this ecosystem where weekly farm health card could be given to farmers. So he will be working proactively. So all over digitization and traceability, our objective is to bring in little bit proactivity in the system. So forecastability could be done, and that is the value, that is the money, time. So that we are trying, we are attempting to achieve in that direction. So similarly, farm efficiency reports are there, the real near-time solution, weather forecast I've already talked, and then whatever is coming, we are doing a lot of BI in that. Whatever data points we are capturing, they goes into the central engine, and from there a lot of inferences comes in. You can slice, dice data in million ways to come out. And similarly, when I talk about 1 crore calls from the nation-old farmers, is being put into the engine. Whatever inferences has been drawn out of it has been given to the government of India. I'm talking about KCC. So this Krishi Devgyan, how it does, it captures, we are building on vision technology also. So for 4 crops, probably we have a 90% accuracy machine learning engine available. For about 80%, 90% of their diseases in 4 crops are having an accuracy of 90%. So it helps a lot in giving a lot of automation of the content dissemination and a lot of real-time experience to the farmer. This brings in a lot of speed of response from the farmer side, and of course you can further increase your point. So whatever traceability for us, again we are taking satellite crop related data imagery also, so you can correlate with, then it's basically all farm specific, variety specific, farmer specific combination, permutation of the challenges what he has faced, that has been kept into the report. So this will build up in future something what Jatin and all we are talking about, a stack, a data stack. If it comes from those stakeholders, it will be bringing quite a bit of productivity in that. So again, we are working on the allied sector also. We build a smart poultry farm also based on IoT, where you can have the ammonia level, 24-hour temperature level, and all the advisories to all stakeholders in the poultry industry. Similarly, a lot of IoT-based automation we are trying in the irrigation solutions also. Some success story in the farmer in a cultivated crop. We did it for Kagome, it's the world leader in tomato pulping in Nashik. So a lot of benefits there. Farmer can get around about 15% of better realization, and whereas the company has got about 6% of less in their procurement cost. So I'm leaving it up to you. Just the last picture stock. These are our farms, completely digitized farms from the entire country, about 17,000 farms. Entire country we have digitized. So these farmer, their geography, their soil records, and their NDVI reports are there with us. These are some of the attempts which we are making. I was just bringing into the table to everybody. So I'm open to your questions and your suggestions. Thanks a lot.